Hi kids, Julie here. I'm going to tell you a Bible story today. I'm going to tell you about how God made the world. And before I do that, I want to just show you something that I made. I started making a sampler quilt. Got to put it together one of these days. But I cut all those pieces out and I sewed them together with needle and thread. No machine, just me and the needle and the thread. And when I got done, I said, "That's very good. I like that." Here's one more that I made. I won't show them all to you. I might lose you. Okay, but I just want to show you that I made something that I was really proud of. And you've made things you're proud of. My little twin granddaughters the other day were decorating their water bottles. And they were having a lot of fun. Each one was doing their own kind of thing with it. And they were happy with it, and I'm sure they said, "This is very good." So now we're going to go to the Bible story and listen, and let's rejoice in the world that God made. Are you ready? I am. Long ago, the world was dark, just like night. There was no shape to the world. It was just a big mass of darkness. There was no dry land, only deep, deep water all around. God, who can do anything, had a plan. He thought, "I will make a world that will be just right for people to live in." Of course, there weren't any people yet, but God was planning. He didn't just decide to make a world because he needed to make it. He chose to make it. God is love, and he wanted to make something for someone else to let them know he loved them. The first thought God thought was, "I must do something with this darkness." And because of God's power, all he said was, "Let there be light." And there was bright light everywhere. God called the light daytime and the darkness nighttime. God knew there had to be daytime so children could go outside to play, and they needed nighttime so they could rest and not be tired. "It is good," said God. He was pleased. God made all this happen on the first day of creation week. The second day, God separated the water from the land. He made a sky above and the water below. God looked at all the deep, deep water, and he couldn't see one bit of dry land. God knew when he made people, they would want a bit of dry land. They wanted to have land to plant trees and flowers on. And once again, God had only to say, "Let water be gathered together so dry land will appear." And it happened. There was land and water. And the water came together and made big oceans and seas, middle-sized lakes and rivers and little streams and puddles. And now there was land, enough land for cities and towns where people could live. And there was enough ground to make big mountains and little hills. And God called the land earth and the water seas. And God said, "It is good." And he was pleased. And this all happened on the third day. The next thing God did was to make trees and plants. He made bright colored flowers. He made a lot of grass. He made big trees so there would be shade. Isn't it fun in the summer to sit under the shade of a tree on a very hot day? Yeah, this was great. He was making a beautiful world for us to live in. And then he had more trees, big trees and little trees, and fruit trees, apple trees, all kinds of trees. And don't we love them? We like our pine trees, don't we? So the fruit trees that he made had seeds inside, so that when they were planted, they made the same kind of tree to bear the same kind of fruit. And some trees grew into apple trees with big juicy apples. And some seeds grew into cherry trees with ripe red cherries. Some seeds grew into vegetables like carrots and pumpkins. And some seeds grew into pretty flowers like daisies and pansies. But something was still missing up in the sky. You might think about that for a little bit. God said, I know what I'll do. And he put a big round sun in the sky. That was to shine in the daytime, and a silvery moon to shine at night. And stars, so that when we go out at night, we see a bunch of stars. My husband and I go out many nights before we go to bed just to look up at the sky. The other night we saw the space station going across the sky. And we always see Jupiter, brightest star up there. And so God looked at all that he had made, and you know what he said. He said, it is good. And God was pleased. And this all happened on the fourth day. Can you see all my fingers? The fourth day. Now we have a memory verse. And our memory verse is, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That is the first verse in the Bible, Genesis 1:1. And say that with me. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And you say that over and over today and kind of remember it. Say it again tomorrow so that you always remember that all the beautiful things you see outside, God created. And he created them for you and for everybody to enjoy. God bless, and you have a marvelous day.